pet solution for your pet business, so your daycare, your boarding. It's really helped me grow my own personal business. I've had about 30% annual growth since 2022, which is when I brought Mogo in. I also have here with me my good friends and peers. This is Molly and Todd. They have their own multi-location, multi-revenue stream. How do we want to word this? Because you guys are in a little bit of everything.
Yeah, so multi-location, kind of diversification. Yeah, we have 2 facilities that do full service boarding, daycare, and grooming. We also operate a fleet of 8 mobile grooming vans.
So what I really want to talk about is, Molly, how did you guys really get to where you are today? Because you have vans, you have daycare and boarding, you have a pet taxi. So how did you get to where you are today?
Yeah, so it was a lot of things over the course of 11 years. Today is our 11-year anniversary of Molly's Pampered Paws. So for us, we started, I was a groomer. I wanted to get out of corporate, so we got a van that I could afford and started mobile grooming as Molly's Pampered Paws. Throughout the years, we saw a need in the market for growth, so we expanded the mobile section first. Then we saw a need in a different area that we were at a lot of times for a location, and from there we added the boarding, and now we've just grown that to large-scale boarding, daycare, grooming, pet taxi, and then the fleet of mobiles.
And we couldn't have done that without technology.
So let's talk about that. What technology features really helped you scale the most?
Yeah, so there's a couple different things. One, the ease of use and having everything in one system. So it was very complicated when we would go into a facility, or we have groomers that might work at a salon one day, might work in the mobile the other day. Mogo allowed us to simplify everything and put it all in one location. We have clients that will use our boarding in one week in one location, and then maybe another time they'll be at the other location, or they'll swap back and forth between mobile and salon based on what their needs are and what availability is. So before we had it all under one platform, it was kind of back and forth. Nobody understood the systems clearly or properly, and there was a lot of miscommunication and frustrated clients. We lost clients over that. We lost team members, and just a lot of just general frustration and dissatisfaction with our customer service process.
Yeah, and having everything under one platform allowed us to have a centralized call center area where we are able to, nobody who answers the phone can look up at any location or any service provider and help the client, so that they're not being sent like, oh, somebody will have to give you a call back or let me look into it. They have everything at their fingertips.
So what I'm hearing is literally having all your locations under one login and being able to switch just between your different locations really made a huge difference for you guys.
Yeah, and too, when they call in, we can, we see immediately that what location their preferred location is, so we can go ahead and pull that up before we even pick up the phone.
Love that. I'm going to switch to myself really quickly. I am just a single location, but I have grown to where I have, I believe, 7 or 8 groomers on staff. And one of the ways I was able to grow was with online booking and abandoned booking. So I trained my staff to where as soon as a booking was abandoned, the system would automatically send a message of, hey, we noticed you didn't finish your booking. And then if the client didn't respond, I have my receptionist pick up the phone. We're the generation of instant gratification. We're shopping for our hairstylist, our Amazon, I don't know about you guys, but I love DoorDash. If somebody's browsing and they abandon their cart, you want to try and retain that client. I probably capture at least 30 to 60 clients that way monthly. So that's a way that I'm able to fill all the gaps in my schedule. So my groomers never really have light days. I'm always able to capture new clients that way.
I would like to add on to that too. We are in that right now society. We picked up a client that's house burnt down. Insurance was paying for their boarding, and we were the 6th place he called. We were the first people to answer the phone, so that ease of him being able to look at our services that we offered. It got us a $4,000 ticket because we were readily available. He could look at our services, he could book right away, and so that's what got us that client.
So I just want to ask a question. How many people out here have kids? Can you put your hand up? Okay, I'm a mom of 4, so my life is chaos, is what I'm going to say. So I book my hair appointments, my kids' doctor's appointments, everything is through an online portal these days. So if your business is not offering some sort of online booking request, you're missing out on all those moms out there. All those parents out there. Let's make sure you can capture those clients. And once you can get that convenience, you're going to be able to grow your business.
And then also talking about that convenience and capturing clients, They use a lot of automation. As business owners, especially when you're trying to grow, you have to work on your business, not in your business. So the more stuff that you can automate and set up to do by itself without you having to directly oversee it or take your employees' hours away, that is, a source that you need to utilize. And for us, Mogo allows us to do that. Not only with abandoned bookings when we're doing online, but as well as the auto reminders. We can set frequency per client, per service. So it's like if we don't see them in 6 weeks, a reminder will go out. That really helps us as well to not have gaps in our groomer schedules. We have about 16 to 18 groomers depending on the season. So that's a lot of groomers and a lot of dogs to get booked. And with Mogo, it's easy to set those parameters and then they get reminders, and we're constantly pulling in people just based off of the software sending a text message that we kind of tailor to our needs.
I want to touch on that a little bit because you're talking about text messages. How many of us here have spent so much time and hours developing our brand's name, vibe, logo? Like, we work so hard to make that. I just launched my new brand, Bark and Bone, in January. And when I did, I went through and I got saved replies. And this sets the tone and the exact verbiage that I want my brand to represent. What does this provide to my customers, you may ask? Consistency. They're gonna have the same experience no matter who they're talking to, because my team now knows the verbiage to use, and those replies are saved within my system. So then my customers are never like, oh, this person said this to me in a rude manner, and get upset. It's the same. Bark and Bone is high-end luxury pet retail. That's why people come to us.
I think too with the automation, our customers don't realize it's automated because you can insert, so many details of the client when we message them. They think it's someone at our front desk actually texting them.
Yeah, I love the variables. You can insert variables. I have so much fun with that. So we have a couple people out here. I see you guys smiling and nodding your heads, but you're here wanting to scale your business. What specific questions or problems do you think that you're starting to encounter today? Anybody want to volunteer? I'll run down to the stage.
We actually use Mogo in grooming. My groomer talked me into it.
I'm running down. Hold on, I'm not that fast. It's early in the morning. Okay, what's your question?
Well, we do daycare boarding and grooming, and my groomer, and we're using one program for daycare boarding, and my groomer talked me into getting Mogo, and she loves it, and I love all the little features that it has in it. The challenge I think that we're having, I texted my facilities manager, the work on your business, not in it, because that's a biggie, and it's really, if I'm there 6 shifts a week, pulling shifts either up front or in the dog yard or cleaning or doing whatever, they're like all the other little nuances are falling through the cracks. So I thought that was a really good point.
It's a hard one when you say.
Yeah, we had the same thing. Our last facility it was an existing facility we took over. They used a different software. We had already used Mogo for our other facility and our grooming. But transitioning all to one platform, it really does help. And now that there's the boarding, the daycare, and we can keep 120 dogs at that facility, and a good chunk of that is grooming. So the fact that everything is kind of seamless between one system, it's saved a lot of headache from our team, having to go back and forth, missed sales, missed reports, not being able to figure something out. And our clients have really appreciated that as well. But yeah, that's a good piece of advice to take home, is to work on your business and not in it. Because if you're in the day-to-day, you're never going to be able to scale like you need to. And having the right software and the right systems, and again, automating as much as you can. There's so many things that Mogo will automate. They have these things called workflows, and with those, you can set up basically any scenario of if a new client messages in but they don't have an appointment after a week, send them this message. And it's a really good way to just capture new clients, get your old clients coming back, push out information, track things like vaccines, and just really anything that can help you capture and grow a client, you can pretty much set up.
I'm going to touch on that again a little bit. We've talked about the online abandoned booking, and something I love about this feature is, with my technology, is the first piece of information it's going to collect is your cell phone number. and this is a question I love to ask, and no one make me regret it. Who has more than 2 cell phone numbers? Okay, how many email addresses do you have? 4 to 5 emails, more than 2 phone numbers. The point I'm trying to get here, and you kind of proved it, is I have 5 emails, I have 2 phone numbers. So when somebody's entering that phone number, you're gonna have less duplicate accounts, and then you're also gonna be able to recover that account as soon as they put it in. So if they stop booking, the system will automatically text them, not email them. And then there's no resetting a password or anything like that, because when your customer's trying to log in, they just type in their cell phone number and it's gonna send a verification code to their phone number. And then automatically they're in their account, just like that. There's no password, there's no, I forgot, so I made a new account. None of that exists. I love it. I came from technology that I had probably about 600 duplicate accounts, guys. Like, talk about tears. It was pretty brutal. You're all here to learn how to scale. What other specific hurdles are you struggling that you are looking to overcome, or you'd like some advice on? Anybody want to put their hand up? I'm coming.
I was just going to ask, does BOGO support franchisors?
Yes, we do. So you should come on over and you should talk to our booth. We actually have Mel, our head of sales. She's in the booth today. She would love to talk to you. And we can, I don't know how many franchise I should say that we are working with, but you can go to our LinkedIn and you can see some of our partners. Any other questions, guys? You're here to learn how to grow. Who's having some growing pains?
They don't have to be software questions.
Yeah, we can just talk about staff retention.
How did you guys balance payroll, insurance? I have so much outgoing, and we're not like the other kennels in our area. We do all day play. So the kids are out for 12 hours, unless, if they're boarding for extended period of time, we start putting them up for naps, because they're gonna get, sleep deprivation after a little while. Older dogs kind of go up, but other than that, from 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m., they're outside. Which means, and I have 2 yards, so I have a person in each yard, a.m. and p.m., a person up front, a.m. and p.m., and it's with payroll and all the other little add-on charges and things that we get from our society. It's really tough. I could expand. I have the business to expand, but there's no way that I can, when I look at the numbers, that I can afford to expand. So what profit margin really do you need to look at when you have all 3? What is the good profit margin for like grooming, for daycare, for boarding?
Well, that is a loaded question based on a lot of things. We keep our kind of situations separate. So each location has its own budget, its own sales, and we track overall. And then from there we break it down by department. So we do boarding, daycare, and grooming. So we want to compare each of those to themselves, month after month, year after year, and then look at the whole facility as a whole. For us, it really depends how you pay your groomers, because that's gonna, depend on percentage of payroll. It also depends, what you're paying your staff, but really you wanna just keep your expenses as low as possible and obviously drive your sales. So it may be, all of the pet industry businesses can be seasonal. Like I said, we're in boarding, daycare, grooming. So for us, we do have that seasonality a little bit. So it's figuring out what's heavy when, and then preparing to have that kind of be overflow.
I can say with all the technology we're using through this platform, we were able to, we didn't eliminate a position, but if someone left on leave and they didn't come back, and by utilizing all the technology, we didn't have to replace them. So even though technology does have a monthly cost, it was well below the cost of a full-time employee. Not having to buy the online booking and all that kind of stuff, and the reminders, it really eliminated the need for one of those salary positions that we had.
I will tell you, our average payroll is right around 38%, and that includes all of our positions. So we have some that make higher, some that make lower, and it just varies. We have support staff that are hourly, managers that are salary, and groomers that are commission. So we just run each part separately, and we know the margin of percent that we can comfortably operate in, and it's really going to get down to knowing the nitty-gritty of your numbers, what your average dog spending per night, how many dogs per night, what is percentage of booking is that, and grooming. A lot of times too, we see people who aren't groomers or don't have that groomer background, their grooming may not be ran as efficiently or as profitably as it can, so that might be an area to look into and focus on, as well as just driving sales.
I'm gonna step in and say, I own Bark and Bone with my husband, who's not here. The boatload of children I mentioned earlier, he's watching them all. This is the first SuperZoo without him, but we aim for 30 to 35% of our revenue goes towards our payroll, just to tell you. We would love to get down to 30%, we're not there yet. But that's kind of the rule of thumb I think we aim for. I also want to say that if you're going to go above that 30%, like right now we're sitting closer to the 35, it's because we're in a stage of we're investing in our business. Because again, if you want to grow your business, you shouldn't cut payroll by you working that front desk shift and cutting that salary. You should be investing in maybe some marketing. How are you going to increase your sales? How are you going to increase your revenue? Work on your business. Don't put yourself in your business. If you find a good leader, good manager, promote them, and that's going to be an investment on that payroll. What numbers do you need to hit for that investment to pay off? That's kind of the mentality I'm going to say my husband has, that he forces on me that he is right.
And that's a good point. We're not at that 30, we're at the average of 38 right now, but it was work-life balance for us, not having to be there every day.
You need to do what's best for you, your business, and your team. So I'm going to take a step back and say I pride myself on I have a fantastic culture in my business. And your culture is built not by you, but it's by the environment you enable your team to build together. So what small things can you do to help your team be more efficient? And it sounds really silly, but my team gets free dog food. It's a low lift for me, a low investment. They absolutely love it because they all have way too many dogs, because we all do dog sports and we all show together. So they love it. It's huge for them, and it's a small lift for me. And by doing that small lift, they have appreciation, and they, are loyal to my brand, and they help contribute to my brand's growth.
And I'll say too, working on your business, one of our locations has had 46% growth for this year to date, and part of that is because we're not in that location every day. We're working on getting new clients in, great customer service and things like that. We're not actually there filling in and doing any type of work in the business.
I will say growth and working on the business, you just keep hearing us talk about, and we keep bringing it up because that is truly the only way you're going to really grow and scale like you should. But it is looking ahead. It's looking at your numbers, not for right now or this month or even last month. It's also looking ahead to where are your bookings. If you're not, you do boarding. So if your holiday boardings are down this year, pick up the phone, call the people that came in last year, see if they need rebooks, see if they need grooms with that. A lot of times you can just easily tweak your script when you're on the phone just to get those extra perk add-ons and things in.
Yeah, we'll pull a report for fall break. It takes a minute to pull and then send out those people a text message asking them do they want to book for fall break for schools and things like that.
I'm going to touch on something you said. You said you're ready to expand, but you can't afford it. And if you can't afford it, I would say evaluate your business model and where can you increase efficiency, increase revenue, and decrease cost. Because I'm in that stage right now where Molly and Todd, we're good friends, we're both in the Midwest. I am in the stage of growing. I'm expanding in second location. And I've had the finances to be able to do that second location for the past 18 months. I have not made that commitment because my business model and my profit margins were not where I wanted them to be. I wanted to perfect my business model before I started replicating it because I didn't want to replicate a problem. So I wanted to make sure everything was ready to go. We always have problems, but is my revenue and my profit where I want it to be? Do I want to repeat this? Can I scale this?
And when we did our second location, we took a 2-month vacation to make sure the one location would run without us really for 2 months, and we were 12 hours away and did not come back one time. But the technology we use, the team that we built, the systems and processes allowed us to do that.
Any other questions? I feel like I could talk business all day, and I can hog the mic and talk about my husband and my children, but you're all here to learn how to grow. So, like, someone give me a growing pain that you're having. Over there. Okay. And you got that one?
How you doing?
I'm tired, but I'm great.
I'm in Alaska and started a business in 2018, and it was a $1,500 investment. And we've been 30 to 50% growth every year, and we're about 10 million right now. And the problem I have right now is a dilemma. Do we open up a second location? There's a demand for it. Or do we have other farm stores be dealers of our products? Because we're so spread out.
I got you.
And it's an open-ended question, but that's the dilemma where we are right now. We have a good team, a young team, and we have management and the right management in the right positions right now. But in order to continue our business in the same model, there's young staff that's required, and there's a lot of turnaround with the older staff stays, but the younger staff. I mean, I think we're the only business in Alaska that offers a 401k matching for part-time for kids.
That's awesome.
But honestly, when we offer that, none of the kids take advantage of it, even though we counsel them and encourage them. It's free money we're matching.
And what is your business? What do you guys do?
It's Alaska Farm Supply, and it's everything except for domestic animals. Chickens, goats, horses, llamas, reindeer, muskox, you name it.
So I'm not in your situation, so I can only give you kind of my thoughts, my opinions, but if you have good management that is going to help you achieve those goals of growth, and it's not going to put all the lift on you, I would talk to your management. That's what I do when I'm looking to expand. Like, hey guys, are you ready to help me do this? I will help lay out the groundwork. I'll help lay out the financial contributions, but I'm going to need you guys to help set the culture and the pace to make this successful. And does your management have the capacity to help you launch that second location? That's something that I would take into consideration. With the younger generation on retainment, I know, I'm going to tell you, me and my husband have a tally on who's the best at hiring and who's the worst. I am currently losing, but it's something that what we started doing, and we are seeing more success in, is we do an over-the-phone interview, an in-person interview, and a Zoom. And we catch these people in 3 different situations, and the interviews are all with different people, and then we all compare our notes. So one interview is my husband, one is myself, and one is our manager. And then what we do is we then come together and we review all the notes, and then we can really quickly roll out candidates, because we'll see inconsistencies on what they're communicating to us, as if they're just, I intimidated them, so they're saying yes, 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 and then they told my husband no. That's a tough one though, because I hear you. I would say building a strong interview process, and when you do find that good candidate, don't just jump up and down and cheers, we found a good candidate. I want you to really evaluate, how did you find that candidate? And then do an interview when they come in, like, why did you choose to apply to us? And then in my business, we do every 6 months, they have no idea, but it's a retainment interview. You're still here. Why are you still here? And so then we talk to our team to figure out, why are they choosing to stay with Barkit though? Like, what is making them happy? I go down this path because I did have one of my top performing groomers last year tell me she was actively interviewing. I did not stop her. She interviewed for 6 weeks. She came up to me, she said, I want to let you know I'm staying. And I said, fantastic. Let's sit down and have a conversation as to why were you looking, where did you look, and why did you stay? And then that will help you minimize the reasons that people are leaving, that you can. Some are unreasonable reasons that you can't control. But then maximize the reasons that people are staying. So checking in on your staff is something I would really encourage you to do. I'm sure you're doing, but what can you do to make it an objective goal and measurement, which is really challenging to do. That's the best I have on hiring.
Yeah, I'd also say we deal with a lot of kind of like you said, the lower level employee in our kennel and daycare operations, and we've just at first we were so set on everybody had to be experienced, everybody had to operate at that top level, everybody has to, they obviously have to fit our culture and be positive and, you know, treat the dogs right, but you're not always going to get a team of all top performers. So it's like once you accept that, and then, but it's clear communication, clear onboarding, make sure that's what our younger staff, as we call them, or just our inexperienced, like they need that very thorough walkthrough. You know, they need to see it, they need to hear it, they need to do it, feel it, you know, sing it, speak it, all the things, and then it clicks. So, and from there we've learned our managers have to manage them. So really that's kind of helped us, even though culture-wise they might be a great fit, their potential is kind of limited, but for what they do, they're great as long as you're very thorough with that onboarding process too.
And we found that profit sharing with our management team has been tremendous in keeping them engaged as if they're owners. It's very hard to get anybody to care about your business as much as you do, especially when you start opening multiple locations and you physically can't be there. Keeping that management team engaged on the sales and the reports, and with the technology they can pull those reports, but they don't have to get them from us. So they know where we stand. They're messaging us, can we do a promotion? It looks like we're down 2%, you know, for this month or something. And so they're already proactively so engaged for doing that profit sharing.
Something you're saying there, Todd, empowering and enabling your team are two huge things. So like I have internal communication obviously, and my leadership will come to me, like my managers, and they'll be like, Melinda, I think we should do this. And I was like, cool, go do it. Like, I'm not gonna do it for you. You came with this idea, I want to see, you brought it to me, I want you to execute it. So empowering and enabling your staff is huge. We are out of time, unfortunately. As what I'm gonna say, everyone, is we're at the MoGo booth. If you wanna continue chatting, we'd love to talk with all of you. Come on by and we can talk business.
Thank you.
Thanks.
MoGo.